Now at 7 o'clock, one person is dead, 4 others end up in the hospital after a driver hits people on the sidewalk and then crashes into a couple of vehicles head on. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us live from the scene in Northeast Portland, coming up here in our top story. Plus,
we will use all the tools at our disposal to insist that Oregonians are part of this process.
Republicans already crying foul ahead of the upcoming special session in Oregon to figure out transportation funding. We'll have a look at Governor Kotek's new funding plan, including a gas tax. And
as it gets longer and longer and they're having to pay more and more for other things, they're going to spend less here.
Yeah, local businesses say they're feeling the impacts of President Trump's tariffs. We're going to check in on 3 business owners about how tariffs have impacted them. Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock, starts right now.
good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We are this close to the weekend, gang, but we do have some work to be done here. Chris McGinnis and Rod Hill standing by with a look at weather and traffic. Rod, let's start with the forecast.
You know, it's been at least a few days since we've started off with just clear skies, and it's clear from the coast to the valley. Beautiful Friday morning out there for you. Here's Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City, 48 degrees. Winds have been light, and we have multiple spots that are reporting the chilliest temperatures in quite some time. Here's the Chehalem Tasting Room camera out in Sherwood. Bright sunshine over the vineyard, and in the 40s as well at 49. Downtown Portland, clear, and the temperature, out at PDX, one of the warmer spots on the Columbia River at 57. This is a day that will show some warming, but overall still really comfortable outside. 69 degrees at noon. I have us getting up to about 82 for a high. The weekend still looks hot with an alert for heat on Sunday and into Monday. That 7-day coming up in just a bit. Here's Chris.
Rod, thank you for that. So clear, it is in fact blinding with the sun right in the driver's eye here. This is Highway 26 climbing the hill towards Sylvan. Again, we've got the normal sunshine slowdowns there. But aside from that, we're still off to a pretty good start this morning. Your inbound Highway 26 drive, just 14 minutes from Hillsborough, so that's in good shape. I-5 from Clark County looks good. I-205 zipping right along over the Glen Jackson Bridge. Let's take you back out to the west side real quick. This is another day of chip sealing. ODOT is repairing the pavement on Cordelius Pass Road. That's Oregon Highway 127, of course. So just be prepared for this. From 8 to 4, they will be alternating single-lane traffic here through the work zone between, again, Germantown Road and Skyline Boulevard. If you don't want to get caught in those potentially big backups, try Highway 30, I-405 to Highway 26. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. Portland police are asking for your help finding this woman. They say 45-year-old Heather Labar has been uncharacteristically out of contact with her family since July 13th, and they're concerned for her well-being. She's 5'3", 200 pounds. If you see her, call 911. One person is dead. Several others are injured after a frightening scene in Northeast Portland just before noon yesterday.
Police say a driver ran into people on the sidewalk along MLK Boulevard before he crashed head-on into another car and a truck. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us live from where it all happened. So, Corey, you mentioned earlier this morning there's a growing memorial there to honor the person who died.
That's exactly right, Drew. Now, police have not confirmed the identity of the person who was killed in yesterday's crash, but people have placed a memorial up on the sidewalk where that incident took place. That memorial including flowers, cards, candles, and posters. The community writing on those posters in loving memory of Darren. And it also includes pictures of the victim with his family and his children. Now, 4 other people were also injured in that crash and were taken to the hospital. It happened just before noon on Thursday. Now, police say the driver of a Ford Escape SUV was heading north on MLK when he drove up on the sidewalk. That's where he hit 2 pedestrians. Then the driver veered back onto the road, sideswiping another SUV, crossing a median, and then going head-on with a pickup truck before stopping. Now, Portland police say it doesn't appear the crashes were intentional yesterday. The driver of the Ford Escape has 2 prosthetic legs, and police say it's unclear if that played a factor.
There is an indication that it was a specially modified vehicle for a handicapped driver. I don't want to call it an accident because we don't have a full picture at this point of the cause, but I think it's important to note that we don't have any indication right now that this was some kind of attack or intentional act.
Now, I've been messaging with one man who says he was one of those people who was hit by the SUV yesterday and injured and did have to go to the hospital. He said he's saddened by the loss of life. Now, a portion of Northeast MLK Boulevard was closed for a stretch of time yesterday due to that investigation, but it has since reopened this morning as people make their way to work.
All right, Corey Johnson live for us there this morning in Northeast Portland. In an update, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek revealed her plan for transportation funding in the state. She's called lawmakers to a special session later this month to hammer out the plan. So the governor's plan includes a 6-cent hike in the state's gas tax and a $30 surcharge for registration fees for EVs in any vehicle that gets 40+ miles per gallon. One item in the governor's plan that attempts to address Republican concerns is holding off on rate increases for heavy vehicles until 2029. Republicans argued that truckers are already paying too much. Republican House Leader Christine Drazen says this proposal by the governor is still full of unnecessary new taxes and that GOP lawmakers may boycott the special session if there's no room for public debate.
If the Democrats think that they're going to have a session where they don't have public hearings, we will use all the tools at our disposal to insist that Oregonians are part of this process.
So that special session is set for the Friday of Labor Day weekend. And without a deal, ODOT is set to start laying off hundreds of transportation workers in mid-September.
Providence says it's laying off another 128 employees in Oregon as it looks to cut $100 million in costs. In June, Providence cut some 300 positions in Oregon and Western Washington. And now the CEO in Oregon says more layoffs will come later this year. For context here, Providence, Oregon reported an operating loss of $250 million in the first quarter of this year. In a statement, the CEO partially blamed cuts to safety net programs in President Donald Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. In a statement, the Oregon Nurses Association said in part, quote, "These cuts don't just affect workers, they directly threaten the quality and safety of care in our communities. Layoffs will worsen Providence's ongoing staffing issues, which leads to unsafe patient loads and burned out caregivers."
Easter Seals Oregon is laying off 12 employees as well as pausing more than 220 paid training positions for low-income older adults. The organization cited the ongoing uncertainty surrounding funding under the Department of Labor. Nonprofits across the country say the department has yet to release more than $300 million in funds meant to help low-income senior workers return to the workforce. Easter Seals says the adults in their program rely on training stipends to pay their rent, their bills, and groceries, adding they have not been paid since July 10th.
In Happy Valley, the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office is cracking down what it's calling illegal towing operations. So deputies recently arrested 3 people accused of running unlicensed towing companies. They also impounded 2 tow trucks. Officials say these predatory businesses violate state law, undercut legitimate companies, and put consumers at risk.
8 landlords in Washington have to pay back their tenants after violating the state's rent cap law. About 250 households will receive refunds or reduced rent under agreements with the state of Washington. The state's new rent cap law took effect on May 7th. It limits annual rent increases to 10% or 7% plus the consumer price index, whichever is higher. The tenants filed complaints with the Attorney General's office and will now get their money back. The Attorney General's office is still actively investigating more cases of landlords violating the law. They're encouraging any tenants who may be concerned to file a complaint with their office. All right, take a look at these photos now posted by the National Weather Service. It shows what they say is a small landspout tornado in Halsey, Oregon. These photos were taken on Wednesday around 4:15 in the afternoon. They say, to their knowledge, the people who took these photos say this tornado stayed over dirt fields, but they are asking to hear from anyone who may have suffered damages. Halsey, Oregon, Rod Hill. I have to tell you, I've never heard of Halsey before.
So that's extreme western Lynn County. It's south of Albany, just a little bit west off of I-5. So you're nowhere near the water. You're inland. Remember Wednesday was the day, that was the rainy day where we had the colder air aloft and the upper trough swinging by, and clearly that funnel vortex would be signs that we had some instability. Doesn't sound like there was any damage or reports of injury, so thank goodness for that. Always interesting to see. Big story moving forward, of course, is the extreme heat watch from the Weather Service for Sunday, Monday. We have the KGW impact alert for those hot temperatures as well. So the map from NWS extends from Kelso, Longview, all the way in Castle Rock in our area, all the way down to Eugene and in the gorge out through Hood River. We're talking about valley high temperatures Sunday, Monday, at least mid-90s, and opening the door once again to maybe some at least spotty 100-degree temperatures. The coast will be clear and warm to hot as well, with inland areas 75 to 80 and maybe a few spots with the winds not being off the Pacific water, up to 90. One of the models shows Tillamook, which of course is inland in the bay, hitting 90 degrees. So again, comfortable today, not bad tomorrow. Get things done so you don't have to be out laboring in the hot weather Sunday afternoon and Monday afternoon. Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. It'll be sunny all weekend now at the beach, 48 degrees, just a lovely view. And it's cleared pretty much across our entire state. Here are the what's left of the snow cap on the Three Sisters from the golf course over at Aspen Lakes. Looking at beautiful sunshine. You folks will be up to about 80 degrees for high temperature today in the Sisters area as well, maybe 82. Here's a look at the Rose City camera, clear blue skies. We're at 57 degrees. Other temperatures, it is now in the 7 o'clock hour, so we're going to start warming up, but still showing 48 in Forest Grove and 48 in Battleground. There have been some cool spots. Dallas now 49, Estacada's in the 40s, Almsville at 47, Salem, good morning to you, 52 is your number. Beautiful sunny day. Nobody's hot, everybody's comfortable, mostly 80 or better inland. This shows 80 up in Kelso, 81 in John Day. 84 in Matters. It does show 80 in Sun River, and then the sunshine in 60s to about 70 along the coast. For your weekend, the updated numbers are back higher than what I had been showing you. 82 today, 86 tomorrow, 96 Sunday, 97 on Monday. And now I'm believing that we could at least still be 90 on Tuesday. By Thursday, we actually introduced a shower chance with a mix of clouds, and temperatures back down into the 70s. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. I've got a trifecta of traffic alerts to pass along. We'll do them in chronological order, starting with this one, 217. This is the fourth in a series of 5 weekend closures. This one is northbound. It kicks in tonight at 9 o'clock through as late as 5 o'clock Monday morning. We're talking northbound from 99W through Shoals Ferry as ODOT continues paving and part of that 217 auxiliary lanes project, which is nearing its end, by the way. Sunday. It is the 29th. Providence Bridge Pedal. Literally thousands of cyclists will take over the top deck of the Markham Bridge and the Fremont Bridge and etc. And it's a fun time, but if you don't want to get stuck in it, just know that there are 6 partial bridge closures. ODOT tells us that those bridges will be reopened by no later than 1 o'clock on Sunday. Check our website, kgw.com. We've got the full list. And another bridge closure coming up on Monday. This is a big one for folks in the Cully neighborhood. The 42nd Avenue Bridge over Northeast Lombard closes for 2 years starting Monday morning. So just be aware of that. The traffic solution to get around this is a lengthy one, about 3.5 miles. Takes you out Killingsworth to 82nd or Cully to Columbia Boulevard. So all eyes on that as we go into next week. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Chris.
As it gets longer and longer and they're having to pay more and more for other things, they're going to spend less here.
Local businesses feeling the impacts of tariffs. Coming up, we are checking in with 3 business owners that we heard from in April about how tariffs have affected businesses so far. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back to Sunrise. With President Trump's new tariffs in effect for the past 24 hours, we're hearing from some local businesses who say they were already struggling. KGW's Evan Watson has more on what these new tariffs mean for them.
Don Seymour owns Fiber Rhythm, a yarn and craft store in Southeast Portland. A knitting machine like this one is a big ticket item.
In the second quarter, we sold as many as we sold all of last year.
Great news, until that bubble burst. Tariff-related price increases kicked in, and costs rose 37%, adding hundreds of dollars to a machine's price tag.
So we'll probably, for the rest of the year, have pretty close to zero sales on knitting machines.
It's a clear example of tariff impacts. Seymour says consumers changed their behavior, buying early. Now that overseas suppliers have raised their prices to account for tariffs, and shop owners like Seymour have followed suit, customers are largely cutting back.
So if you looked at like average order value and the number of people in your conversion as people are coming into the store, those numbers have all gone down.
In April, KGW talked with 3 Portland business owners about the Trump administration's proposed tariffs, tax increases on imported goods that Trump argues will reduce budget deficits and generate new wealth and domestic manufacturing. For many industries reliant on toys and other items made abroad, tariffs simply mean higher prices.
We absorb what we can, but as a small business, we have lower margins, lower room for error, and we just have to pass on some things.
John Weber is a seismic retrofitter who mostly uses domestic steel and wood. He said he would be less affected.
But I feel like we are in a pretty good position to ride this out.
Months later, Weber reports that's mostly true. Prices stayed generally steady, but business has been slow. He attributes that to apprehension over tariffs and interest rates. At Fiber Rhythm, the cost for yarn, imported from around the globe, has risen between 10 and 20%.
We can't afford to not pass it on. We have low enough margins.
With higher prices across the board, Seymour says she knows her store won't be considered essential.
I feel like it's just another tax on consumers, but without saying it's a tax on consumers.
Already some customers are asking about less expensive alternatives.
As it gets longer and longer and they're having to pay more and more for other things, they're going to spend less here. That's what I think.
What does that mean for someone like you?
That means I dig into my own savings to pay the rent by the end of the year. That's what that means.
Evan Watson, KGW News.
All right, your time now is 7:18. Taking a live look from our Wells Fargo cam. If you look very closely at the screen, you'll see that a spider, who we have seen often, has made a perfectly spun web.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes.
Nature.
Did some good work. It just moved along.
Yeah. Pretty reflection on the Willamette there of the early morning sun. This is a clear sky pattern now that will be with us all weekend, including at the beach. So everybody's weekend plans will be, you love it, Shannon loves it, will be with the sunny blues. Just doing a little sun dance there.
Oh,
Okay.
boy, now I got
We do have the KGW weather impact alert for the hot weather, remember, both Sunday and Monday. And the Weather Service has an extreme heat watch, is their wording. And this does include all of our area from Cowlitz County, Castle Rock, Kelso, Longview, down to Eugene, into Cottage Grove, and then out in the gorge to Hood River. Temperatures that were trending down somewhat from what we initially showed you earlier in the week on the models that came in overnight last night actually started to trend back up. So we're back to having valley high temperature category on Sunday and Monday, anywhere from 95 to 100. Yeah. And we're looking at the coast also being sunny with the north to northeast wind flow, which will be warm. So at least mid 70s. So I think a lot of the beach areas, if you're out and about this weekend on Sunday, will be up to 80 degrees. And there could be some hot spikes nearing 90 degrees. Okay. Here are the numbers for Portland. with the records for the date, in case you're interested. 86 tomorrow. So tomorrow, no impact alert. We're just warming up. Kind of a normal August afternoon. The record, by the way, 105 back in 1981. Sunday, now we're in the impact alert and the extreme heat watch. 96, records 107, also back in 1981. Interesting to note that for decades, remember, this was the benchmark for the hottest Portland had ever been until we blew it away, and now the all-time record high is 116. Talk about blowing away a record. And then on Monday, forecasting 97, the record's 102. That one's from the August of 1977. 97 is the warmest we've been so far this year. If we get to 98, obviously that would become the hottest temperature of the year so far. Okay. Clear skies, as I mentioned, all areas, including the beach. No marine layer expected throughout the weekend, so it's going to be gorgeous outside in terms of sunny blue. Our state capital, 52 is the early morning number. Here's a look out over the valley from Silverton, the Oregon Garden Resort camera. There's the Oregon Garden back in the trees here and the beautiful sunny skies in that part of the valley, and perfectly clear over downtown Portland. We are at 57. Other numbers, still in the 40s up in Astoria where it's clear. 46 in Bend. There's some cool spots. Burns was actually down to 34, now up to 42. That's a chilly morning, right? Out there in Harney County. All right, Salem 84 for you this afternoon. We'll call it a little bit warmer than we have been, but still in the comfortable spot for this time of the year. Southwest Washington also expected to just get up into the 80s. And I have Portland at 82. 86 tomorrow as the warm-up begins. And then the impact alert for the hot afternoons, again, plan accordingly. 96 Sunday, 97 Monday, and now I've actually back to believing Tuesday could hit 90. 80 on Wednesday, actually a shower threat with a high only in the 70s on Thursday. Here's Chris.
Up and down we go. All right, thank you, Rod, for that. Let's pick it up on the west side. A reminder that today is another day of chip sealing. ODOT is doing some repairs to Cornelius Pass Road, Oregon Highway 127. You may recall it was renamed and the jurisdiction changed a few years ago. It's now a state highway. And with that, ODOT is doing that chip sealing today. They'll be using flaggers and a pilot car to alternate one lane of traffic through the work zone between Germantown and Skyline Boulevard. So expect significant delays, or you could take the long way around, Highway 26, 405, and Highway 30. Speaking of Highway 26, there's the live look. Coming down the hill from the zoo into the tunnel, we're riding the brake a little bit, but it's not bad. Right now, your eastbound Highway 26 drive is actually zipping along at pretty close to a speed limit commute. 14 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough. I-5 from Wilsonville, it's just 17 minutes. And as we check out the drive out of Clark County, both I-5 and 205 are in excellent shape. So no major freeway trouble out there at this hour of our Friday morning commute. We roll on after we roll this commercial break.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Let's take a look at some national headlines this morning with your morning rush. A rapidly growing brush fire prompted evacuation orders for thousands of people living north of Los Angeles. The Canyon Fire was estimated at about 50 acres early yesterday. It quickly grew to nearly 5,000 acres, and more than 4,000 residents are dealing with mandatory evacuation orders. The cause of this fire is still not clear. 3 more people have been identified as victims of the September 11th terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center. Ryan Fitzgerald of New York, Barbara Keating of California, and another woman whose family wishes to keep her name private, all identified by the medical examiner, the chief medical examiner's office. They did this through family outreach and advanced DNA analysis. The $8 billion merger between Skydance and Paramount, now official. The new company will be called Paramount, a Skydance corporation. The deal closed just 2 weeks after getting final approval from the Trump administration. Lastly here, the IRS says despite the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, no changes are coming to tax year 2025. So that means employers and payroll providers should keep using current procedures. The IRS plans to release more guidance for individual taxpayers in the coming months and says changes on tips and overtime, how those things are reported, will be part of a new set of forms in 2026. And that's a look at your morning rush. Coming up in our 7:30 half-hour sunrise, Washington health officials concerned after discovering the first case of locally transmitted malaria. Health officials weigh the risk to the public. Plus, a Washington winery experiencing a drastic drop in sales. We'll have more on that story as well when Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock, continues.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Friday morning drive. Another day, starting in about 30 minutes or so, that ODOT will be doing some chip sealing on Cordelius Pass Road. So just be aware there will be some delays there between Skyline Boulevard and Germantown from 8 to 4 p.m. today. Back to your drive. On the west side, you got the sun right in the driver's eye. That's a nice problem to have, right? Because that's the only problem that we've got out there right now that I could see. 15 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough to the Vista Ridge Tunnel. Rod?
All right, Chris, thanks for that. We do have clear skies everywhere, inland and along the beaches this morning. Here's our state capital, early morning number 52. Whole bunch of you dipped into the 40s last night, so there's some coolness to your start this morning. Downtown Portland showing clear skies. The numbers out along the Columbia at PDX, 57, one of the warmer spots. This is going to be a lovely Friday for you. We'll start to warm up, but still very comfortable. 69 at noon, 82 at 5 o'clock. We still are tracking heat on Sunday and Monday with the weather impact alert. 96 on Sunday is the latest, 97 on Monday, and maybe we're still just at 90 on Tuesday.
Good morning. I want to make sure my mic is on. Good morning.
Moon?
Starting tonight, you can look up and see August's full moon, also known as sturgeon moon. The name comes from the time of the year when the sturgeon are easiest to catch. It'll be its peak just before 1 a.m. local time Saturday, but we will look for it the next few nights. You will be able to see it in cities and suburbans. Other traditional names include the flying up moon and the black cherries moon. And I think this is the first time that we've reported on a moon or some phenomenon that's happening up there that we could see.
It seems like it, doesn't it? So often it's cloudy, but we're perfectly clear all weekend, to your point. I saw it this morning. Did you see it this morning driving in?
I did not. No.
When I drove in, it was already in the western sky from downtown. It was gorgeous.
I'm always trying to look just straight ahead, just straight ahead at where I'm going on the road.
Never forget. Years ago, different TV station, all right? I'm like, hey, beautiful full moon. Can we get a photographer to go out and get a shot of it? And the photographer comes up to me. He's like, yeah, where should I look? And I thought for a second, and I said.
No, he didn't.
He did. And I thought, well, up. Start with looking up.
Where should I look? Wow.
Here's our Schnuckwinz, different station. Here's our Schnuckwinz Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. To see the ocean, you look that way to the west. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're at 49 degrees outside. There's downtown Portland. Everybody's perfectly clear. It will be this way through the weekend. As I mentioned, 57 in Portland right now. Your planner today, 69 degrees at noon. Yesterday was 74. You'll notice it being warmer, but certainly for the first half of August at 82, still considered really comfortable and technically still below normal for this time of the year as well. Here's Chris.
Up. Perseids. We haven't talked much about that yet. They peak, I think, next week. All right, let's get you back to the one of the best meteor showers of the year, in case you were wondering. All right, Highway 26 right now, inbound, riding the brakes a little bit near the Vista Ridge Tunnel. Normal stuff for this hour of a Friday morning drive. We've been looking hard to find trouble spots on the roads out there this morning, and that's good for you, meaning there aren't many. 16 minutes as your drive in from Hillsborough. The drive out of Clark County still looks great over the Interstate Bridge and the Glen Jackson Bridge. A reminder, we're a half an hour away from another day of chip sealing on Cornelius Pass Road, Oregon 127. That's between Skyline Boulevard and Germantown Road. So while they're doing this and they're putting down that fresh sealant on the road, they alternate traffic lanes through this 2-lane stretch of road, 1 lane at a time. You get a break, another lane goes, etc. It causes significant delays, so just be aware of that. If you want to avoid those, try the long way around, Highway 26, I-405, Highway 30. We'll keep you posted, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Portland police are asking for your help finding this woman. They say 45-year-old Heather Labar has been out of contact with her family since July 13th, and they're concerned for her well-being. So she's 5'3", 200 pounds. If you see her, call 911.
Portland City Council unanimously agreed to pay the family of Manny Clark close to $4 million after a police officer shot and killed him during a traffic stop.
The family filed a lawsuit last year after a grand jury decided not to indict the officer, saying the use of force wasn't criminal. Alma McCarty brings us more.
I don't understand how shooting someone in the back while they run away could at all be considered in policy.
Strong words from Portland city councilors.
I'm disgusted by how this has happened, and it continues to happen, that no officers were found in needing discipline or training, that this officer was patted on the back and given an attaboy and sent back out to do his duty.
All 12 voted in favor of settling the wrongful death lawsuit with the family of Manny Clark.
After extensive mediation, the parties agreed to resolve the claims in the lawsuit for $3.75 million.
On November 19th, 2022, an officer still employed by the Bureau shot Clark with an AR-15 rifle as he was running away. The 30-year-old died at the hospital days later. The lawsuit, filed in March 2024, claimed Portland police wrongly and unreasonably believed Clark to be the suspect in an armed robbery, and that after being shot, he was left bleeding on the ground.
It is absolutely chilling to me that it was 26 minutes after he was shot before assistance got to him.
If there were some unknowns and then there were some knowns. The knowns were that the people they should have been looking for were white men, and Manny was not.
Ahead of the vote, officials and attorneys fielded questions from counsel, and Chief Bob Day explained his decision not to discipline the officer for his actions.
The law says that the officers don't have to be right in the end, but they do have to act in a way that makes sense given what they reasonably believed at the time. There's no dispute that Mr. Clark's death is a tragedy, and frankly, it should anger us. It does me.
Again, that was Alma McCarty reporting for us this morning. According to the lawsuit, both Clark and another passenger in the car that night ran away during the traffic stop. The officer who shot him testified that he saw Clark reach into his pocket and was afraid that he might pull out a gun. Turns out, though, Clark was not armed, and neither he nor any of his passengers were involved in the robbery. We also have new information this morning about the man that Longview police say stabbed 2 people, killing one of them earlier this week. He has not been caught. He's considered armed and dangerous. Police say 51-year-old Alexander Rogers recently got out of prison for attacking people with a machete in a neighboring county. So Rogers is now accused of killing 64-year-old Dawn Peters and critically injuring Andrew Peters on Tuesday night at this house in Longview. Authorities say Rogers could still be in the area. They say he's likely driving a black, spray-painted BMW with Washington plates starting with BNU.
He was arrested and ultimately served 20 plus years in prison. So he has not been out long from that. So, and that's why I say it's really important for us that the public knows this guy is dangerous. He's shown a propensity for violence.
Officers last saw Rogers earlier Tuesday during a traffic stop near the Longview Fred Meyer. He has a nationwide warrant out for his arrest. If you see him, immediately call 911.
If it's confirmed, that would be the first time this has happened in Washington that we know of.
He's talking about the first case of locally transmitted malaria in the state of Washington. Pierce County health officials say a woman who has not traveled recently was diagnosed last weekend. They believe a mosquito passed the disease from an infected person to the woman. Mosquito trapping and testing are now underway.
I think it's important to remember that the risk to the public remains very low. In this case, doesn't change that.
That woman, by the way, is currently receiving treatment.
2 women are now facing first-degree theft charges after they allegedly stole from multiple shops along the I-5 corridor. So authorities say that this surveillance video right here shows the 2 stealing a $3,400 coin from a coin shop in southeast Portland in early June. Investigators say they apparently did the same thing at other shops. So if you spot them, you're asked to call 911.
Over on the Oregon coast, someone in Cannon Beach pointed a laser at Haystack Rock. We're going to explain why that's a pretty big problem in this case. This is video of the incident. Turns out the rock, we know, is home to 7 species of birds who use it as a nesting ground. That includes a species called the black oystercatcher. The Haystack Rock Awareness Program says 2 of those birds just lost their chicks. They say that laser, along with people climbing on the rock, may be to blame.
We would come down, we would identify those people because they are disturbing wildlife on the rock. We would document that, and that report would get forwarded to Fish and Wildlife. And even though they might be up by the driftwood here, if they're disturbing wildlife with a laser pointer, that's a federal wildlife violation.
Yeah, Oregon Fish and Wildlife says it can issue a fine of up to $250 per incident for anyone who's caught disturbing wildlife on the rock.
Your time now is 7:38. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather.
Hey, lots of talk of our hot weather coming up this Sunday and Monday, but it was one of the cooler starts this morning that we've seen recently. So I want to take a moment and show you. These are the unofficial lows. So some of these could actually be adjusted down a degree when the final report comes out. But look at McMinnville, down to 43 degrees this morning. PDX, which is the 57 along the Columbia River, kind of stands out like a sore thumb. Pretty much everybody else was quite a bit cooler than that. Hillsboro, 48. Tillamook, 46. Hood River, 46. Now, obviously, we're now in the 7:30 half hour, and we're starting to warm up a little bit, but it has been a cool start. Everybody's clear. The sun's kind of messing with the clarity of this shot a little bit, but there's a beautiful picture of Depot Bay along 101, the entrance into the harbor, and it looks like just a gorgeous day along the coast. That's a camera at the Channel House right along the entrance of the bay there, looking up to the north. Here's the Reserve Anderson Golf Club out on Loa, looking west at clear skies. Beautiful day to be working, playing, doing anything outdoors. Early morning number now up to 57 degrees. We have light winds. We'll keep light winds throughout the day today. Battleground in the 40s earlier, now up to 51. Scappoose in the 40s earlier, now up to 50. Wilsonville, good morning to you, 54. And our capital city is now at 52 degrees for a temperature. Finley is our KGW dog of the day. I love the shot. I mean, I love the beach wear, and I love the serious, proud look there as well. Dog of the day at kgw.com is an email address. Send us your dog's name and photo. Your dog will become our dog of the day. Everybody's sunny. You're basically seeing 80 plus inland and 60s, about 70 at the coast today. Enjoy the comfortable weather. 82 in Portland. Still not bad tomorrow, but certainly warm in the afternoon at 86. And then we have the impact alert for the 96 on Sunday, the 97 on Monday. Some models cool us into the 80s on Tuesday. Other models say we could still hit 90. I've bumped it to 90s. We'll see if we get 2 or 3 of those hot days in a row. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Hey, I've got a series of traffic alerts to pass along for the weekend, so we'll hit them in chronological order. First off, 217, this is the fourth in a series of 5 weekend closures. This one starts tonight at 9 p.m. It's northbound from 99W to Shoals Ferry as ODOT continues paving work. This is a continuation of that 217 auxiliary lanes project. Sunday, Providence Bridge Pedal, the 29th annual Bridge Pedal. It gives tens of thousands of cyclists an opportunity to take over some of Portland's bridges and get a great view of downtown. But if you don't want to get stuck in it, and if you're not prepared for it, it's kind of like, what's happening? 7 bridges are impacted. There are 6 partial closures, and the most impactful is the southbound Fremont Bridge. That's the top deck, 405 South. The northbound Markham Bridge, top deck of the Fremont, that's Markham, I-5 northbound, and westbound Ross Island. Those will be closed. ODOT says that all bridges should be reopening no later than 1 o'clock on Sunday. And speaking of bridges, on Monday, the Northeast 42nd Avenue Bridge over Northeast Lombard, this is in the Cully neighborhood, will close for 2 years as PBOT does some seismic upgrades, doing some widening, adding some multi-use paths as well. Average traffic on that's about 5,000 a day, and your detour is a lengthy one. So just know this, starting Monday morning, all of you folks that typically use that bridge are going to have to add about 3 miles to your commute. We'll keep you posted. China?
Chris, still to come on Sunrise, fast food wars heating up. Look at the hot new trends that has thrill seekers running to the drive-thru. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues after this.
You might say the KGW school supply drive is heating up, right? One of the easiest ways you can help out is by hopping online. You can go to kgw.com/school, click that donate cash button, and when you give online, we've got a little something for you. Everyone who gives online will get a pass to the Columbia Sportswear Employee Store. Pretty cool. Also, On Point stepping up this week. Every time someone donates $1 to the drive at one of its branches, On Point is giving $5 to the cause. Last thing to remind you about, big collection event happening tomorrow at the Washington Square Mall. We'll be there to collect school supplies in person between noon and 4 p.m. A big thanks this morning to On Point, Rick's Custom Fencing, and Safeway for stepping up to help out with this year's school supply drive.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Here's a look at this morning's consumer headlines. The Texas company Finetiv is suing Apple, claiming Apple stole its technology to create Apple Pay. Finetiv says Apple Pay's key features are based on technology developed by the company that bought Finetiv in 2014. The complaint also claims that Apple used trade secrets to launch Apple Pay. A new study links French fries to a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. People who ate fries 3 times a week were 20% more likely to develop the disease. Other potato styles like baked or mashed didn't show the same risk. And Pepsi's Drips Twisty drinks are headed to Regal theaters nationwide. After launching in Tennessee and New York, they'll be in 200+ locations by fall. The crafted drinks mix Pepsi flavors with boba, cold foam, even floating cotton candy. Yeah, it's a thing. You can grab one in a 16-ounce cup for $7.99 at participating theaters.
All right, we'll start this next story with this line. If you can't stand the heat,
get out of the kitchen.
Yeah, get out of the fast food kitchen, specifically here.
That makes sense because over the past few months, fast food chains have added dozens of new spicy options, hoping to draw in younger customers. Apparently, if you like spicy, you're young.
My 2 young kids have loved the spicy for a long time.
Oh, okay, well then that checks out. NBC's Jesse Kirsch has more on this hot trend.
It does have a kick to it. Damn, McDonald's, chill.
From social media
they got spicy.
to menus nationwide, this morning, the heat is on with the latest shakeup in fast and casual dining.
Spicy or ranch? Spicy.
Major restaurant chains piling on the flavor.
For Chipotle heat with a touch of sweet.
This spring and summer, U.S. chains adding over 70 new spicy dishes to their menus, according to CNBC and the market research firm Data Central. With both diners and restaurants now more cost conscious, it's a way to attract new customers.
As far as trying to innovate, trying to draw people back in, this is one of the cheapest ways to do this, right?
It is. Adding a new sauce to an existing product is a simple way to add new flavors, new complexity, but not too much labor.
Brands also say they're trying to reach younger diners.
I'll come back and get this again.
Oh, that's hot. That's good, though.
With a growing number flocking to spicier foods, fueled by social media, where spicy menus often trend. And there are even popular shows like Hot Ones, making spicy food all the rage.
Why do you think spicy food is so in right now?
I think it's mostly just a trendy thing right now.
So people may not even actually enjoy the taste. They just want to be in on a trend.
I think a lot of it has to do with trend. Yeah, 100%.
Now brands from Wendy's to Chipotle to Cava to Taco Bell all adding a range of spicy foods. Wendy's even launching a Takis Fuego meal, with major food chains not wanting to get left out of the latest hot food craze.
I think if you're a restaurant launching new products in 2025 and you don't have a spicy product or a spicy offering that's a component of that, you are missing out on the competition.
Thoughts?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I've said it many times on the show before. One of the greatest sandwiches on the planet.
Ooh, on the planet.
Yeah, it's a big statement. Greatest sandwiches on the planet. The spicy chicken sandwich at Wendy's. And it's been that way for a long time. It's not new. Wendy's has a spicy chicken sandwich that is awesome.
Yeah, I like it. I actually prefer the spicy Jack of all places at Jack in the Box to that one. But the Wendy's one is good. I agree with you.
You've had it?
Yes.
I've never actually eaten a single item of food from Jack in the Box, so I can't speak to that at all.
Jack in the Box is kind of fun, man. I like Jack.
Hot take,
Yes?
pun intended. I think spicy just covers up the actual taste.
Well.
And so, you know, at these fast food places, they're not great.
saying.
And so you just throw in some spice and they'll eat it and
It was
fills
not
you up.
in that story, but McDonald's, I think they still have this. They recently added, there's a spicy sauce they'll put on your Egg McMuffin breakfast sandwich. And I did try that. I didn't think it was horrible, but I typically don't like it if it's just the sauce. Like if it's spicy, I want it in the batter. I want something going on. I don't want just some sauce slapped on it.
You know what I like? When I say da-da-da-da-da, you know what to say. Da-da-da-da-da.
I'm loving it. Yeah. How was that, huh?
That was over the top.
Over the
I
top?
expected nothing less from you.
I thought that was my best moment of the show so far today, China.
Perhaps.
China's ignoring me. Here's a look at our extreme heat watch map. Okay, I gotta get serious. We've been talking about this all week. This is Sunday, Monday. This is the way the map looks, where the area the Weather Service is warning for as well. This is all of our region from Castle Rock, which would be northern Cowlitz County, down through Kelso, Longview, Vancouver, Portland, Salem, Albany, all the way down to Eugene. It extends out in the gorge into the Hood River Valley. Again, this is Sunday, Monday. The temperature models that came out last night, after cooling for the last couple of days, we're actually back up again. So we're back up to expecting 95 to 100 degree temperature ranges Sunday and Monday in the Willamette Valley. We're expecting coast temperatures, not in a warned area, but at least 75. I think a lot of the beaches on Sunday especially will hit 80 degrees. It's a north to northeast wind flow, so no cooling off the Pacific waters. And there could be some areas actually spike at 90 if the wind direction goes more due east than north. So the best bet, if you really want warm weather at the coast, which some people like, some people don't, but if you do, Sunday would be your day. It will be sunny at the beach all weekend, by the way. So the numbers for Portland, 86 tomorrow, warming up, but still considered normal, right, for this time of the year. The record tomorrow is 105 in 1981. Here's the KGW weather impact alert for the hot 96 on Sunday. The record's 107. And the impact alert for the hot 97 on Monday. The record is 102 back in 1977. And then we'll drop considerably starting on Tuesday. And all the watches, warnings, alerts will likely be canceled. Here's the Chehalem Tasting Room camera out in Sherwood, looking at Mount Hood sticking up there, kind of left center. 53 is the early morning number. This has been busy in the afternoons lately, still summertime, of course, summer break, and it will be another nice, comfortable day to be out at the Oregon Zoo. 58 degrees currently up in the West Hills. 52 in Newport, Salem sharing that number. The Dalles, good morning to you. 55, sunshine and light winds currently out there in Wasco County. It's 47 out in Baker City. Forecast numbers for a beautiful day at the beach. Right about 70, I think, either give or take. Winds will be just light northwest 5 to 15. Valley numbers, we will be getting back up into the 80s today, but still considered comfortable, certainly for the first half of August. 84 in Salem. Southwest Washington, 80, 81, 82 expected. And I've got Portland at 82 today, 86 tomorrow. Here's the weather impact alert for the 96 on Sunday, the 97 on Monday. Some models drop us into the 80s Tuesday, but the majority of the models I looked at early this morning still have us at 90, but not as warm, obviously, as Sunday or Monday. And then by Thursday, we could actually be in the 70s, maybe Wednesday for that matter. Wednesday, I've got us at 80. Here's Chris McGinnis.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's pick it up on 217. This is over near Denny. Your southbound commute's on the left-hand side of your screen here because, well, they're driving into the sun, right? It's just south of here. It looks like we might have a little fender bender action on the road. I don't see it showing up on our traffic map, but I do see some slowing as folks get down towards Shoals Ferry. So watch out for that. Of course, we mentioned this earlier, the 217 northbound closure again. This weekend, it kicks in tonight at 9 o'clock from 9 until 5 a.m. on Monday. ODOT's doing paving on 217 northbound, that closure from 99W to Shoals Ferry. Keeping it on the west side, the inbound Sunset, again, drivers looking right into the sun as they come down the hill from Sylvan. So the drive has picked up a little bit in drive time. We're just shy of 20 minutes now to get you from Hillsborough to the Vista Ridge Tunnel. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Washington's wine scene is seeing a slip in sales. That's what's known as a slippery sentence here on the Sunrise Show. Back to business. According to the Puget Sound Business Journal, sales are down 18% since 2021. Madeline Carter has more on what this means for some popular Washington wine destinations.
It's what Woodinville is known for. But nowadays,
drinking RTDs, ready-to-drink beverages.
Consumers have more than just a Pinot or a Cab on the table.
Mocktails.
Rich Jansen says he saw the city's drop in wine sales coming.
The industry was strong enough to initially substantiate the 2 tasting rooms, but then it just started falling off a cliff, and so we had to make a tough decision.
To shut down an Alexandria Nicole Cellars location. It's just one example.
One of the wineries in Wine Alley just switched over to just doing Saturdays, just because it was slow.
Of a downward trend in Washington and along the West Coast.
Napa and Sonoma and the like, you know, it's very similar.
Tasting rooms as a whole are experiencing a slowdown. The director of Woodinville Wine Country says visitation is down 13%, and wine tasting room sales are down 10.7% compared to last year.
Well, it is definitely a challenge for our industry as a whole.
2 doors down.
To get people excited about wine, to get people coming out and experiencing wine.
At Barronmore Cellars, it's pushing owner and winemaker Kim Harris to think outside the barrel.
We have food wine pairings. Every season we change up our menu so there's something fresh and new.
Since opening this tasting room in 2021, she's avoided the slip in sales.
We have that paired with a summer tabbouleh.
But if you love Washington wine, now's the time to show up and sip local.
We're all small family wineries, just trying to, you know, make that an American dream.
All right, quick reminder, we are not done for the day. We have another full hour of sunrise coming your way right here on KGW Plus. More weather, more traffic, more news headlines in 3 minutes.